afternoon. This is your Pan-African show called Africa and your host, Seifu. This show usually shows on Saturdays at 4 p.m. on Arts TV. Don't miss the show. Today we have a great guest for you, a little different from the usual guests that we've had, which is actually very exciting because it talks about a lot of different aspects of culture, Africa, music. So please introduce yourself.
I'm Derek Scott, selector fireman, and put together a group of musicians and artists and business people, the Trendsetter sound system. And what we do is something right now, one of the big projects that Trendsetter works on is the Black Sounds of Freedom, which is this festival which I call the pilgrimage, taking people from the whole of the continent and the diaspora, the global black population, I mean not everybody, but drawing on that to bring people on a holy day to come to Ethiopia, and then we go on a pilgrimage to Shashamane. We went to Wendo Gannett, basked in the hot water springs, you know, we did a show in Shashamane, then we're coming back to Addis Ababa and doing a show. This is the third time I've done it for 5 years. We had a little COVID break, but this is the third pilgrimage. So there is the festival, there is the album. So the people who come on the festival are typically people that are on my album. And then we're documenting the whole thing here in Ethiopia, but going to the places that the people are from also, like Colombia, like Jamaica. We spent a lot of time in Jamaica and a lot of time here in Ethiopia, exploring how the music is interwoven with a resistance movement, that the music is more than just songs and nice things to listen to, but it's the soundtrack to a movement.
Wow, okay. You've said a lot.
That's me introducing myself.
I know. So we're going to have to break them down so I can ask specific questions. Like, for example, tell us about Trendsetter sound system. When you started, what made you start it, and...
You know what happened? It's just the funniest thing. When my son Abagaz was born, and I just thought he was the coolest kid, and I was like, everybody wanted to be like him, and I just started calling him a trendsetter. And then I started to just build this thing of like, yeah, when I DJ, and like telling him like, we're trendsetters, wherever we go, we're trendsetters. Everybody's trying to be like us.
So that's how it came about.
That was really how it came about. But then I continuously was coming to Ethiopia, right? And so the first time when I came here, and you know, the first time was hard. But when I was leaving, everybody, because I knew people from DC that were here, that had left out of DC and were here. And then I met new friends and all this, and they're like so confused. Why are you leaving? What are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, but I gotta go. I have a plane ticket. So then the second time, I'm here a little bit stronger, getting to know it more. By around the fourth time, I was like, all right. So like I'd met Sydney by this time. I'm like DJing with them, and I was like, I'm more than a DJ though. I should be doing something. So around the fourth time I was here, I was like, okay, I think I could see where I fit in. I could bridging this gap between, you know, people in Jamaica, you know, their ideas of Africa can be like this fantasy world. They don't realize it's a plane ticket away. Actually, it's a real place, and it is beautiful, and it is holy, but that doesn't mean there's not, you know, pickpockets and thieves. Like, it's reality, but it is still wonderful, and it is holy. And the same way, you know, people just think, oh, in Jamaica, people must just sit around and life is just no worry. Are you kidding me? It's a dangerous place, yo. Jamaica is rough. Yeah. And so just bringing this reality between these two worlds that existed, and then I was like, you know, it's bigger than Jamaica and Ethiopia. We're talking about black consciousness across the globe. And we need to connect a little stronger. So we're making it easier for people to connect. That's really facilitating this connection.
Beautiful. So what is the Black Sound of Freedom project?
Well, it started, like my favorite singer was Michael Rose and Black Uhuru. Before there was Black Uhuru, it was Black Sounds of Freedom. And I was working with Michael Rose, and I just was so excited, like, yes, Michael Rose, we're gonna do songs together, and he lives near me in Florida. And I was like, oh wow, I have a new best friend. So he became like a mentor on it, and I was like, I can't call it the new Black Uhuru, but I call it Black Sounds of Freedom, giving tribute to that. But like, you know, they kind of took what was the sound of that original foundational roots reggae, and they really solidified it into this Waterhouse sound that was, you know, so distinct and is lasting to this day. But we're doing something that's beyond the music also. It's not, the music is just this backdrop. It's a reason why we can bring people together and have a good time. But Black Sounds of Freedom isn't just, you know, a music festival. We're connecting people. We want people to go home with bags of coffee and go put them in coffee shops. We're trying to make the business between, we want to stop the middleman, you know, stop working on the plantation in the West, and let's just work together between the East and the West. Zalama crew from Colombia, you know, and I think it was really important to, again, with bridging these gaps, not just bringing Jamaica and Ethiopia in the Rasta movement, but if we're thinking of Black Sounds of Freedom in the diaspora, in the Western Hemisphere, most Black people speak Spanish. They don't speak English. And the idea of somebody who's in Latin America is like a J-Lo. That's your idea, but you don't, so when you look at my videos though, it's Black Spanish-speaking Colombia. But even still, just imagine this then, we gotta make that connection easier with Africa too, because if you're from a Spanish-speaking place and they feel Africa in them, they couldn't beat it out of them in Spanish-speaking Latin America. Well, where are you gonna go in Africa to speak Spanish? It's limited. We gotta cross these boundaries of language.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta bring these things together. So even on this Black Sounds of Freedom, we got a lot of people speaking different languages. So we're gonna bring them as well. Zalama crew from Cali, Colombia. That's the #2 largest Black center in Latin America. There's Bahia, Brazil, and then it's Cali, Colombia as just a Black center. That's where the city on the Pacific coast, where all of the people that worked along the Pacific came into the city as it grew and grew. And I mean, it's known for illegal trade, but it is a lot bigger than just the illegal trades, like the Cali cartel. But no, these guys really, I've been working with them for 10 years as well. And in fact, Al Cacino, who's on the event with us today, he's part of Zalama crew. So he was able to make it. They were all supposed to come. He was able to make it though, but they got visa things. We're gonna bring them in December. Before this year is out, we're gonna bring them here.
Beautiful. So basically the way I'm seeing it is you trying to reconnect the diaspora with their motherland.
Exactly.
And this is through music?
Through music, through arts. The music is the easy way, but we can easily, the music is the backdrop, it's the soundtrack to what we're doing.
Yeah. So why did you think there was a need for this project?
I'm gonna speak frankly, and you know, just know it's not her speaking, it's me speaking, if anybody got some beef with it. So a lot of artists in the reggae music scene say Africa, they say Ethiopia, they say Shashamane, you know, they call this guy, you know, divine by God to be the king.
Right.
The king came on an airplane, came all the way to Jamaica and said, get out of this plantation, you're slaving in hell. I got a place, I found it. It's called paradise. It's called paradise. He named it heaven on earth. He said, come home, get out of there, come home. And they're not coming. There was some people who came before, but then it's kind of teetering. It's not a mass movement. And so I want to bring a reality to it. So like some artists I've had to struggle with. Some artists have literally said they don't want to go unless it's a certain amount of money. And I found that, you know, a little bit disrespectful of like, we talking about, I'm gonna give you money, but you want more money to be able to come and see the Holy Land. That's some real special things. But still, like there's, you know, we can, again, it's not necessarily about these artists, but if they sing about it and they actually make this trip, then others would see like, wait a second, it's $1,000 for a round trip ticket from DC. That's not really that difficult. I can make that happen. And Derek said he got everything else covered. We got a coaster, we're going to Shash. I just need a one ticket and Derek got me covered. Then I say, yeah, we can make this grow so the artist can sing about it and actually make it not just this fantasy world idea of what, you know, Zion is, but you can actually just get on a plane and come, and then we're gonna go on a coaster and go down to Shashamane.
Probably experience way more with you than they would all by themselves. Please explain what the 3 core elements of Black Sound of Freedom.
I didn't know that they were connected originally. Because I've been working, me and Steve, Roots Underground, I'm like one of the founders of Roots Underground from like the 90s. Steve really started in the 2000s, but him and I released a CD in the 90s that becomes the beginning of Roots Underground. But me and him have been working together this whole time. I started working on this new album, like this, just working out these rhythms with him, and we were gonna build something, much what it is, but it was separate. I was also like thinking, I need to do a show in Ethiopia. I need to just do a show. But I'm also like, a lot of these people are very good at branding themselves. And they say, I gotta have a logo, and they're gonna attach their social media to this, and everybody's gonna know me, and I'm gonna be internet famous. I didn't really do that. And I was just kind of building it. I didn't know these two things were connected. And then I was like, maybe somebody should follow us with a camera while we're doing this. Not everybody can go on the pilgrimage, but they can watch it. So we need a cameraman. And then even the music is good, but you know, seeing the story of the music and it relating to what we're doing on this pilgrimage is actually a lot more relatable. So the documentary really actually took, and I'm not a filmmaker, I watch TV nonstop, but the documentary really became the focus, I think, and it's a lot easier for people to reach, and I get the best reaction from it. I mean, tonight we'll get maybe 1,000 people, maybe 1,200. You know, maybe, you know, some amount of people will listen to the music, but I can't compete with, you know, these pop reggae artists. But the documentary, I think, is when you try to search for, you could search for a Rasta documentary, and it's basically like a Wikipedia documentary. It's not going, but this is a documentary about repatriation and why people would do it. This actual, a big part of what it means to be a Rasta is being covered in this. This isn't a documentary about Rasta, this is a documentary about what Rastas do. Right. So you can't find this kind of content, and I think this is gonna, the documentary more than anything is going to make, is gonna reach more people.
So, when you're doing a documentary on the Rastas, does this also include the Rastas in the diaspora? Obviously, the ones in Colombia.
Yes.
Okay.
So when there's an episode we can watch in Colombia where me and Steve, we go and do a show in Colombia, and and we're in Cali, Colombia, meeting the different groups, the different people. We were exploring more than music. We were exploring the African roots of culture in Cali, Colombia. Cali, Colombia is the second largest center for African roots in South America. Bahia, Brazil, and then Cali, Colombia. And we in the Western Hemisphere, diaspora, need to make better connections with where the diaspora is. If this is the second largest place for the diaspora to be, Colombia was Panama. Panama was Colombia at one time, and not just, so Jamaicans live here in Colombia and Panama, but not just Jamaicans. There's been a movement of black people.
Hey, the me Africa from, so rebel, liberation, not rebel, liberation style, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm a revolution, pregunto ahora tus raíces, ¿dónde están? Let me sing them.
The music is a part of it, but we're exploring the African roots of the culture, the things that you cannot get away from no matter how much they beat you or work you on a plantation. There's some things you can't get away from. And that's what we're exploring in Black Sounds of Freedom.
Beautiful. Wow, I can't wait. I mean, I don't know if I can, tonight would actually give me the sense of what you're actually talking about, and I hope it does.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how many musicians will there be?
There will be as one band, and they're backing up 7 different singers.
From 7
And,
different countries?
Yeah, we got Kenya, France, Martinique, Jamaica, Ethiopia. Did I say I said Jamaica already? I guess there's some overlap. Yeah, because 3 of them are from Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6 is still
Yeah,
still
so
alive.
we got a diversity of performers. We've all been traveling together, getting to know each other, singing, doing improvisational singing, jumping up on a microphone. Some of them can't wait to get on the microphone. Right now, they just jump in and start singing, some of them.
Must be exciting.
Shaka.
Have they all been here before, or is this their first
Only
time?
our Kenyan, Lavasti had been here before. He's the only one who had come here before. But out of the group that is on the tour, he's the only one.
Wow, so it must be a great experience.
It is.
And they went to Shashamene with you.
Yeah.
So, my next question is actually going to be, and I don't know, I think for me, because I don't know Colombia, or Jamaica for that matter, but I think I would like to hear your journey through Colombia. Like, when you first when you got there for the first time.
Yeah.
To actually do this. Can you take us through your first
so
experience?
Me and Steve, we came from Jamaica to go to Colombia. Well, first in that episode, what happens in there is my Colombian friends, Zalama crew, come to Jamaica, and we're at Judgment Yard at Sizzla's house, making a video, making a song, them understanding, because they have their ideas of Rasta in Colombia, which is going to be different than how people live it in Jamaica. And Sizzla, he was so excited when I bring people from international people, So he gets so excited when I bring Ethiopian people. He just stops everything. He's got to call everybody down and say, look, I got people coming from Ethiopia to Judgment Yard. And when I hear when Sizzla he was driving my Colombian friends all around. Couldn't wait. He's driving around introducing them to everybody around Kingston. It was hilarious. They were like, Derek, you didn't tell me we were going to be doing this. This is amazing. I thought we were just going to go make a song. Yeah. So, we did this part of that episode. Is the first half is going to Jamaica, and then me and Steve would go and do a sound system show in Colombia. He also goes by Lightning, and I'm Fireman. So when we perform sound system, it's Lightning and Fire. But we get there, and we're like, it's like Jamaica, but it's more built. It's like more concrete. It's more permanent structures. Like as if they're somewhere, I think the illegal trade enabled infrastructure to be built there. But like our buddies, like I've known them for years, and we've been working together beyond music. So they had taken us through like their hood. Like there's it's tight. We're walking through like these narrow little walkways between there. Oh, we're looking at people, they're eating dinner in there. Like we're just navigating this ghetto, and everybody is like knowing we're there and like looking at us, but like looking to make sure nothing happens to us while we're there. Because even Abagaz, my son, was with us too. Wow. So he was part of this journey. He likes to tag along and play on his video games while we're doing deep stuff.
It's a good experience though, for a young child.
Yeah.
To go through all of this.
Yeah. I think so.
So that's it? You go through the narrow.
We spent like a week there, and we got a sense of, we went up into the mountains there. The Andes split South America, so it's catching that cold water coming this way to the Pacific versus going into the Amazon. Okay. It's the Pacific side. But but we just spent a lot of time just eating food, being with people, and just understanding this how the diaspora is playing out, because it's not like going to, I don't know, on a vacation to Puerto Rico or something like this. We're in a place that doesn't get much tourism, and in fact, there hadn't been a Jamaican singer, a Jamaican group who had come to Cali before, even though reggae is very popular there and it's a major city. It's like 4 million people. Wow. But it's just off of the beaten path because it's also a pretty poor city and it's a black city. So it's not Bogota, it's not Cartagena, we're in Cali, Colombia. But it was such a great experience, and just an understanding of with everything we were doing, when we're eating the food and realizing like how similar it is to Jamaica. It just got other twists on it. And when you hear the music that they're making, even they make, so their marimba is a big part, and that's a West African instrument. and it's still like it is a major part, whether they're making reggae or whether they're making salsa or like the other Latin American dances and the music that follows it. The marimba is going to be a centerpiece of it. And
so that's basically one instrument they took with them.
there's one instrument, yeah, and they've been making it out of the shells and wood ever since there. And yeah, you can just hear the Africanness, not just in the instrument, but in how they play it. And when you watch that video, okay, so I got, not in that video, we made another video also that is more urban, has more ladies dancing. And people had a problem with it from me, and I was like, well, we just broke the whole stereotype. These are black people in Latin America. Obviously, the music and the dancing and everything we're showing is showing African roots in Latin America, regardless of, yeah, it's sexy, it looks good. But get beyond that and see that like Latin America, most of the black people in the Western Hemisphere live in Latin America. Right. They don't live in the US. Jamaica's 2.5 million people. You know, Cali, Colombia alone is bigger than Jamaica. Wow.
So you haven't been to Bahia yet?
Bahia
is your next.
I got to make friends and get invited there. We want to, when we're documenting this thing, you see the good thing here is with the movie, with the documentary, with the album, I could just keep adding on to it and just call it part 2. Right. So yeah, but we want to go to Bahia and we really want to explore and see, because there's some untouched, just the actual, you know, the roots of African people in the West is undeniable there.
Absolutely amazing. I got a chance to go to Bahia and I can't tell you the experience. They are the most amazing people. They look, actually, they thought I was one of them. Yeah. Because they would all speak to me in Portuguese, and I was like, Yeah. Apparently, we all look alike. Yeah. Apparently. So, can you tell us about how this video was done?
All of that takes place at Sizzla's house, at Judgment Yard. The whole thing is that, okay, so one of the things, actually, episode 4 is just about Judgment Yard because, I don't know, he says it in songs. People, when they talk about going to Jamaica, they say, I'm going to Judgment Yard. And it's kind of like, it's Sizzla's house, but it's kind of all of Augusttown, the center he lives in. It's kind of, it's not all of it, but like half of that you could almost say is Judgment Yard. And he keeps on expanding and building things, these community centers.
We're working, you know, cleaning up the valley. So whenever time you got good drainage, good runoff, you know, this valley fed Sizzla, so I'm cleaning it up.
And I don't want to go down a list of people that I could diss, but I could. But right. Sizzla's not one of them. Sizzla is like, I really, not that he's without fault or something, you know, he got his faults, but he works from when he wakes up till he goes to sleep to build Judgment Yard and Augusttown and Jamaica as a whole, and move in mind of moving forward. And you see, there's this mantra that just becomes just like a greeting that repatriation is a must. Every Jamaican, you know, not every Jamaican, but you know, any cultural Jamaican says, yeah, man, repatriation is a must. But like, you're just saying that. Then what does that actually mean? If repatriation is a must, do we got to stop what we're doing right now and get on a plane and go? Like, but making this a reality that is where Black Sounds of Freedom is. And I would say that is where Sizzla is 100%. So when we look at this video, we're looking at everything around Judgment Yard. There's a tabernacle. It starts with the Nyabingi drumming. You see things, the other things, the things that he's built in there that the community uses, like the pool that the children go swimming in. There's a museum. There is all of these cultural centers. He lives like he has a bigger house, but he's never there. You could go at 6 a.m. right now, and I know just where to catch him. He's going to be sitting by that river, sitting on the bench, waiting because people just nonstop come. And
so he's a community.
He is not just a singer. He is a community leader. And I mean, like seriously, like, you know, Augustown is a dangerous place. And in fact, right now there's a lot of violence, and the police system depends on him. They know if there is anything, if we're gonna calm anything down in Augustown, we need Sizzla. Like, he is this community leader. It's not gonna happen. In fact, there was a year where there was 0 homicides in Augustown, and that was 100% because of Sizzla. He is that community leader to just, you know, first of all, giving opportunities. He's nonstop giving opportunities. He is just operates as this vessel of just, and yes, use me. You need to make money off of Sizzla. Great, go on the internet and find some way of making money. Dub plates, selling t-shirts, whatever it is, go do it. You can use my name. I'm here as this vessel for Augustown. But do it. Don't just sit around here and beg. And so, in that way, I mean, I'm not trying to, I can't compare myself to him. He's on a much bigger level, and what he is doing, and he stays true to it. I would say 100%. I think in the video, that's one of the things that we were trying to convey in there, of what, give a sense of what all is happening in Judgment Yard.
Wow, I would have never, you know, we never know beyond what we see or what we hear when we talk about musicians. You never know the background, you never know what they're doing. So it's kind of nice to hear something like that about Sizzla, really nice. Okay, so my next question is going to take you back.
Good.
Okay, it's going to take you back, and I'm going to be asking you about how did you start DJing? Why did you start DJing? How did you get into that?
Okay, well,
I'm talking a real back.
my father died, and I took his records.
That's...
Don't make me cry on your TV show.
No, I won't. I'm sorry.
I'm kidding. But no, you know, as like, you know, around junior high school, I wanted to be in music. I had a guitar. I had records. I didn't really know how to do anything with the records. I was also in DC, and I listened to hip hop and wanted to somehow combine hip hop and reggae and rock this for the past 30 years. And I feel like I'm finally getting where my sound could be in there, but like it's been, some of it was really bad when I was 13. I'm just like banging my guitar and saying, this is reggae, Rastafari. But trying to combine reggae and rock and hip hop for 30 years, I think. And I think, you know, it literally did start because I had a bunch of records from my dad. My dad died when I was like, just when I turned 13. And there wasn't much in his house but some records and a couple of shirts that I actually still wear. But, so those records, so when I first started DJing, I played dub. I actually played like Black Uhuru. It wasn't me who just stumbled on Black Uhuru from out of anywhere. Like, my dad liked Black Uhuru a whole lot. So then I'm like, you know, and trying to make sense of me and trying to make sense of music even as a teen. And so, I was really going down that path. And I made a lot of albums and music when I was younger as well. And I've, to varying degrees of success. Like I said, that's been 97, I think, me and Steve formed Prodigal, which becomes Roots Underground, and they stayed on tour for 20 years after that. I would join tours here and there with them, but it's his thing. He went and took what we did to a whole other level. So, and mostly staying in reggae, but I would say I blame the Wu-Tang Clan, because somewhere around senior year of high school, the Wu-Tang Clan came out, and that's kind of all I wanted to listen to for like 5 years. And then I got out of that, I was like, okay, let me get back to what I was doing now. And I got back to like working on reggae. And I think that's about the time that me and Steve released Roots Rock and Hip Hop Culture, it was called. So from there, like I just continued. One thing, and I tell my friends this too, as we're like getting grays and things, don't try to keep up with the young people, man. You're never gonna get, like a lot of my people are like grasping to just have what that new sound is so they could get one hit. Like by the time you get it, it's already old. You're not gonna keep it. Just do what you do. You know what I'm saying? And so like, there's DJs who are a lot more popular than me, who make a lot more money, who are a lot more organized and brand themselves also. But like when I was a late teen until like today, I always just played fire music. I'm selective fireman, and I was just lucky that when people would hire firemen, they know I'm just gonna play Rasta music all night long. I'm not gonna dip in there with no trap music. I'm not gonna play with Manamin. You know, I'm just gonna play Rasta music you plug me in for 4 hours, you're gonna get 4 hours. You wanna plug me for half an hour, then that's what it's gonna be. So, and I just stay consistent with that, and somehow was able to keep on getting gigs and be like, oh, good. So I could keep on doing what I'm doing.
What you'd like.
You're not gonna tell me what to play, and I could just come, great. And so then it kind of grew. It said Fireman's gonna come in and play 1 hour of hot, that fire, played Capleton and Sizzla and hit them with Luton Fire and do all this. And yeah, so I was able to keep, I don't know, I guess just being out and continue to do that. So as funny as much, I continued at different times, but basically in my 20s and first half of my 30s, I would DJ about twice a week for those 15 years. So it was a big part of my income, actually, without being a popular DJ, actually, because other people are popular and actually get paid a lot, but I just consistently would have 2 gigs a week, and that was I had a regular job, and that would be half of my salary is also coming from DJing.
Oh. So while we're on that, what do you not recommend, but any advices to up-and-coming DJs or for DJs that are still out there doing what they're doing? Any advice?
I mean, I think I got luck. I would say to do what I do. The same thing with my artist friends. Don't try to chase what other people are saying is hot. I mean, I'm not the best cutter and scratcher. I don't do tricks necessarily. But one thing I say, I got impeccable taste.
There you go.
So when I'm gonna play music, that's what I'm zoned in on what I'm good at, and I'm gonna have impeccable. You're gonna have an experience when you play with me. And I think, personally, I would say to anybody else who's gonna be a DJ, you're not the one creating the music. You can create a mood. You can create an atmosphere if you got that impeccable taste. And you gotta cater to what people like. But just trust, sometimes people don't know what they like, and you gotta help them. They'd be like, wow, that was amazing. I really enjoyed that. They didn't know. They would have said, don't treat me like a jukebox. Don't come and say, oh, play this and play that. You can listen to the radio, man, go home. I'm not a robot here. So, if you zone in on what that part of it is, and I would say that for any DJ, is to figure out what your niche is and what can you create, what kind of mood can you create as a DJ. I think that's been my success, personally.
That sounds like a good advice too. Quite a lot of people, especially in Ethiopia, that really don't know anything about June 19th.
Okay.
So I would like you, in your words, to explain to them what it actually means.
Okay. Well, let me, to answer your question, let me completely ignore that and start off with something different. In Black Sounds of Freedom, this isn't just a Rasta thing. When I say this isn't, even a documentary isn't a Rasta documentary.
We, the Rastafari sons and daughters in this island here, have to stand up for a cause that is compass the colonial era of the slave trade, because after giving us emancipation, they have worked us coming down till 1962, wherein we have got an independent that is still being administrated by the colonialists, the capitalists, you see. So we are not totally free until we, the Ethiopian sons and daughters of the African origin, is being totally free, that we can emancipate ourselves and go forward to the shores of Africa, go to the land of Africa.
There's a repatriation in African mindedness around the world, but it's just Rastas that have that built into what their philosophy is. That's why we're coming from that angle. So we do it on those holy days, but I say, no, we could do it on Adwa also, because this is Black Sounds of Freedom. You know what I'm saying? We're anti-colonialists, okay? We do it on Bob Marley's birthday. We do it on Marcus Garvey's birthday. Not every year, but at any given time, I say, all right, let's do it on this November 2nd. Let's do it on this June. And so now we've had 2 weeks worth of events, and I've called the whole thing Juneteenth. And what this holy day is in the USA, when they made the Emancipation Proclamation, that didn't mean every plantation owner listened, right? So they did that in April, and it took all the way until June for the northern troops to get all the way to Texas to tell every landowner, no, there is no more slavery. So on that day, it actually ended. 2 months after the Civil War was over. Imagine that.
2 months after they actually said it.
Yeah.
Okay, so to end our lovely conversation,
I think
what song
I would really like you to play that King's Highway. Sidney Solomon.
Yes. Okay.
He's not just my favorite singer in Ethiopia. I think, Sidney's one of my favorite singers that is. The tone of his voice, the way he gets around, I mean, you know him. Listen to Sidney. This is my chance to work with Sidney Solomon here.
Yeah, Sidney is.
And I was just so happy that he was excited to be on the album, on the Black Sounds of Freedom as well.
So we are going to say our goodbye. If there's any last words that you would like to give to our audience, advice, anything you like.
I am not one for advice necessarily, but please do join and come, and not to just be entertained, but it's not advice I'd have, but like, let's talk and maybe we could be working on. This thing is not, the boundaries are not set. Yeah. We can expand it, sir. If somebody else wants, there's somebody else I can work with, then all of a sudden the boundaries of what Black Sounds of Freedom is, maybe it's also a graffiti thing too. I don't know. But whatever it is, that's the contribution of others. Like I said, this came from, I'm in Africa regularly, and me trying to figure out how I can contribute. What could I be working on here that's a benefit? Yeah. Because there's no profit that I take with me. Anything that I'm doing here, the money stays here. So trying to build something over here. So that's what I'm saying. Anything that anybody else wants to work with me or finds what I'm doing interesting or finds a way that we could parallel and work together, then I say, yeah, then these boundaries of what Black Sounds of Freedom is going to expand based on your contribution as well. Because now I'm in the TV. I'm like a TV star. I'm up here with you, and like, I didn't know I was going to be a TV star.
I'm glad you were able to come and join me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm a Suganalo.
Thank you.
That was really wonderful.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Till next time, Africa.